Welcome to Bloggers World News from Miami, where we bring you current news on technology from bloggers around the world. My name is Jenny One. Today we begin with an overview of 3D printing technology, which is better known as additive manufacturing. It is the process of sending digital files to a machine, a printer. This printer then stacks layers of materials to physically create the objects represented by the digital files. Typically, plastics, metals, resins, ceramics, and other exotic materials are used. Common examples of the end products are jewelry, clothing, foods, and car parts. The technology is now allowing more complex products to be reproduced. These include such things as entire cars, entire buildings, and even human body parts. The United States' President Obama made a number of announcements over the past 2 years, noting some initiatives taken by the American government. These initiatives include the creation of a public-private partnership aimed at promoting 3D printing within the U.S.
Last year, we created our first Manufacturing Innovation Institute in Youngstown, Ohio. A once shuttered warehouse is now a state-of-the-art lab where new workers are mastering the 3D printing that has the potential to revolutionize the way we make almost everything. There's no reason this can't happen in other towns. So tonight, I'm announcing the launch of 3 more of these manufacturing hubs, where businesses will partner with the Department of Defense and Energy to turn regions left behind by globalization into global centers of high-tech jobs.
The government attention to 3D printing has become the catalyst to push the technology even further. Ultimately, it is expected to allow the U.S. economy to regain much of its lost manufacturing base. 3D printers now come in a variety of sizes and for different purposes. Currently, they are primarily used in the following industries: food, fashion, medical, engineering, automotive, and construction. Of course, as with any new technology, 3D printing has its limitations. It is most valuable for custom or one-off items, yet it tends to become cost prohibitive when used for mass-produced items such as an entire production line of cars, engineered parts, or bulk clothing manufacturing. One area that is sure to become problematic for the 3D printing era is in the legal field, or more specifically, legal liability. Here is an example of what we mean. Let us say an individual creates a part for a machine. That part is installed and consequently fails and causes injury, or worse, death. Who becomes liable? Is it the originator or designer of the digital file used to make the part? Is it the person or the company who prints the part? Is it the installer, the owner of the original machine? Is it a combination of any or all of them? Legal issues will become front and center as 3D printing becomes more common. This area will need to be addressed by governing bodies worldwide. There are also copyright and patent issues to deal with. These concerns aside, there is no doubt that 3D printing has many benefits which will ultimately outweigh the disadvantages. We are going to take a look at these areas of the technology. First, to present a report on 3D printing in the food and medical fields, here is Jim One. Thank you, Jenny. For you food lovers out there, one prominent example of 3D printing in the food industry is Chef Jet. This is a printer which will print designs using sugar as its ink. The printer can make its products in various flavors: chocolate, vanilla, mint, sour apple, cherry, and watermelon. These printers come in 2 versions. There's a smaller monochrome version which is designed to sit on a countertop. Then there's a more professional version which offers full color. This version will print creations up to about 10 inches by 14 inches by 8 inches. These printers sell for between $5,000 and $10,000. They are clearly not for the average family cook who merely wants to whip up a nice dessert for the family on occasion. Instead, they are intended for professionals and restaurants to custom make menu items for patrons. Now the medical field of 3D printing is expanding like no other. In our first example, on July 21st, 2014, Dr. Emily Baca at Morgan Stanley's Children's Hospital in New York City was able to 3D print an exact replica of a baby's heart to thoroughly examine it before performing complicated surgery on the baby's actual heart. This allowed the doctor and his team to successfully and quickly perform the surgery, knowing exactly what they would find before the first incision was made. The doctors have credited the 3D printing technology with allowing them to save the baby's life. 3D printing has been used to make dental bridges, surgical instruments, implants, spinal cages, internal and external replacement body parts. They are used to make bone scaffolds and some other unique devices. An example of this is Magic Arms, which supports a 2-year-old's real arms to allow her to use them to feed herself and even hug with them.
When she was born, her legs were up by her ears and her shoulders were internally rotated, and she had ulnar deviation on her hands and rocker bottom feet. The geneticist came upstairs and told us she had arthrogryposis multiplex congenita. They brought her legs down and they casted her, and slowly and surely she started to develop. Our first year with Emma, we found out that there was going to be a conference, and it was in Philadelphia.
It was an arthrogryposis family meeting in Philadelphia where I described the Rex.
We watched a presentation on the Rex.
And that's how it all started.
We ended up in Tarek and Whitney's workshop.
The Rex was attached to a stand, and she was able to put her arms into the Rex and for the first time be able to lift her hand up towards her mouth.
She just started, throwing her hands around and playing.
We were bringing candy up for her to eat, and we were bringing toys up there, and it was so fun for us to go up there and to see her play.
The existing Rex is all metal parts, and it's kind of big, and Emma was too small for that. So we required something light and small that would attach to her body and go with her. So that's where we had this Stratasys 3D printing machine, and we thought, well, we could print it out for her.
And he did it, and the weight difference is significant. And for a child who only weighs 25 pounds, it makes a big difference. Whitney and Tarek put their minds together and came up with a jacket, and they would put the Rex on that, and we're on our second jacket. She outgrew the first one, and now we're on our second one. And it's still evolving. It's still growing into this incredible prosthetic that helps her to use her arms.
Without the 3D printer, we would not be in a position we're in with these younger kids, making them a Rex device that can go with them.
This is one of those industries that matches perfectly with 3D printing, additive manufacturing, because we need custom everything.
I think 3D scanning and printing technology is the future for this field.
The ABS plastic that they use is the same plastic used in Legos. It's human-friendly, if you will. It's really strong and durable to handle the abuse. We can answer a need in a heartbeat.
If the Rex breaks, all I have to do is take a picture and email it to Whitney. He knows exactly what the piece is. He prints it out. I go to the hospital, or he's even mailed them.
I don't have to worry about lead time to machine something, order supplies. I can just basically go back to my program and print out another one.
And it's back together and it's working. When she started to express herself, we would go upstairs and we would say, Emma, we're gonna put the Rex on, and she called them her magic arms, and everyone in the room cried.
We took it off of her on this one occasion to make some adjustments to it. And as we took it off, she cried out, "I want that." And we didn't think all that much of it, but when Mom started to cry, and we look over and ask Mom why she's crying, and she kind of takes a moment to recompose herself and tell us that that was her first complete sentence. To be a part of that, a little special moment for somebody else, can't help but kind of tug at your heartstrings.
That is our report on 3D printing in the food and medical industries. Back to you, Jenny 1.